This is the movie we're watching today.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
The Thing. So.
Alright.
Let's explain what we're doing here.
The Thing.
We are watching The Thing today. So, this is a new series we're doing on the channel. This is Tyler from T&G's Wonderful World of Comics.
What up?
He's great. He's my best friend.
Known him for... I don't even know. It's
long
been
time.
like I was elementary school, probably, to say the least.
Probably.
And that's probably close.
But we've known of each other for a long time.
Yes.
But like we didn't really start hanging out until probably last year more.
Yeah, probably, more or less.
All of our other friends abandoned us.
Basically.
But it's great because now we're best friends and everything's good.
Yeah.
And my best friend, you guys know me already on the channel. Like, I love horror. That's what the whole channel's about. And he has, like, seen probably, I would guess, 5 horror movies your entire life.
Probably close to that. I can count on one hand I'll just tell you the top 3 horror movies I've ever seen in my life. In no particular order. Alright, so I've seen the new Pennywise It movie, Chapter 1. I've seen Chucky, the one that came out a couple of years ago. I think Mark Hamill did his voice.
Yep.
And the original Exorcist. And that is it.
So, the plan here today is to document Tyler's journey into the horror genre. So
this is where they're diving off the deep end is about to start.
Yes. So this is a segment I think we're just going to call it Tyler's first time seeing blank.
Yes.
And today it's Tyler's first time seeing John Carpenter's 1982 classic, The Thing. If you guys have been, if you guys are a subscriber to my channel, you know it's in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. So I figured there's snow recently here in Minnesota where we are at. And so what better movie to show that's not a Christmas movie to Tyler here.
Here's why I think this is probably the most mind-blowing place to start, because as a comic collector, my favorite superhero is the Swamp Thing. And the fact that we're about to watch The Thing, which I know has no correlation to Swamp Thing at all.
Except for the word thing.
But just reading this, it's like, okay, like I can get my mind into this and you know, get in that place and enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome.
So just judging by, we're just looking at the cover right now, and we have the description. We have it up on Showtime. That's where we're watching this today. I thought I had a copy, but I guess I sold it a while back. So unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. I was gonna physically reveal the movie to him, but I couldn't do that.
That's how we're gonna do it from now on if we have it. So.
Generally, I will have the movies because I'm a collector. You guys know that. So like, I will generally have the movies that I'm gonna show him. So that'll be a little bit funner. But this time, I couldn't find my copy of The Thing, probably because I sold it. Unless it's still at my sister's house somewhere, but I'm pretty sure someone bought it from me. But let's just some questions before we get into the movie. Judging by just the cover, what do you think? Well, first of all, do you think you're gonna like it? 2, what is your expectations? Just judging by just the cover.
So judging just by the cover,
yes,
I already am really excited to see this. Again, tying back to the comic book world, The Thing. You know, Swamp Thing, Man Thing, I'm super into. Obviously, the regular thing, or not really regular thing. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of. Yeah. But no. Judging by the cover, it's scary. I don't know what this is. But it excites me. And then going over to the description, the description for this movie says. Scientists at an Arctic research station discover an alien spacecraft under the ice and thaw the body found aboard. What they don't know is that the alien can assume any human form, and before long they can't tell who's real. So that is right up my alley.
Yep.
You know, the mystery,
It's
the
almost like
science.
a whodunit kind of movie.
Yeah. So
And it really feels that way when you're watching it. The whole time you're watching, you're like, okay, and you're eyeing for, okay, who's the thing now? What is the thing now? What in the room is the thing right now?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and sometimes you'll know, sometimes you won't. So it's just like, it's a crazy awesome movie.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get into this.
Released in 1982, and so the thing I like about that, and I was telling Brandon this last night on the phone, is that I really, really appreciate older movies when they actually have to physically go and make the prop and have the fake blood and all this other stuff. Like right now in this day and age, there's too much CGI, green screen, and you can do just about anything with a computer. But a lot of respect for some of the older horror movies just for doing things like that.
And this movie is like highly regarded for its effects. Like this movie is a staple of what practical effects can be. So I think you are in for a treat.
Then. Yes. Okay.
There's plenty of special effects to go around. It's a really fun movie. I don't think it will scare you. Okay. Just so you know, I don't think it's going to scare you.
I don't think it'll scare me either. A movie that would, it would have to be some type of a torture movie. I'm trapped and can't get out.
Are you down with French movies at all? Would you be willing to watch a French movie?
Never seen a French movie.
Do subtitles bother you?
I mean, I'm a slow reader, but we can pause.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, no,
because I think I have one that would scare you.
I don't.
But it's French.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Okay.
But my brother has it on DVD, and if he lets me borrow it, then we'll do it because it's not streaming anywhere.
Okay.
But he has it, and I've seen it. I think so. We could do that down the line. Maybe not for the next one, but when next time I see my brother, maybe I'll see if I can get that from him, and maybe we can do that for the series. But that will be a surprise too. Okay. But for now, we are about to dive into John Carpenter's The Thing. So we're gonna cut right now, and we'll jump back to after we've watched the movie, and we'll talk about it some more. So we'll put up and we just got done watching The Thing. Tyler, thoughts?
Okay. It was really, really good. I mean, honestly, I think we started off with a really great movie.
We did.
Because as somebody who's never really watched any horror movies ever, when you hear the word horror movie, my first thought goes to serial killer, along the lines of that.
Slashers and stuff.
And this was nothing to do with any of that at all.
No.
If nothing else, during the movie I referenced that game,
Among Us.
Yep. I was like, wow, I bet this is.
It's probably influenced by.
I bet that game was a complete just rip-off, and the creator was a fan of this movie. But I mean, the entirety of the movie, it was beautifully shot. The everything. A lot of the, I don't know what you would think, alien, the goriness of it, was really, really awesome.
Well done.
That is right up my alley of things I like. I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he was great.
His
great,
awkward hat.
The weird hat.
I kind of want to try to cosplay as him or something. I don't know. But just how fast everything happened in the movie, because thinking about it, I mean, it was probably 2 days since the Norwegian helicopter first showed up. It was maybe just a couple of days. I only really remember Nightfall twice.
Yeah.
But just the everybody against everybody thing, and there's so many questions that are unanswered, like who drained the blood?
Yep. They never get to that. Who unlocked the door for Blair?
Yeah. Because I made that comment too. I was like, okay, so
Blair dug underground.
If he dug underground, that doesn't explain who let him out.
Yep.
And towards the end of the movie, you see the one guy get sweaty. Childs, yes. So right then and there, you're like, okay, well, he must be the Thing, but he passed the blood test.
He did.
Which still is confusing to me. Like, but I'm trying to think back. In the beginning of the movie, when that dog first ran back, who did it jump up on?
Bennings.
Okay.
The guy who got shot, the bald dude with the orange, and he did turn.
And he did turn.
He was the first human we saw turn, because he had, like... He was one that's kind of getting enveloped by the thing they thought was dead. Okay. And then he had the hands that were all deformed, and they burned him with the flare.
Yep, okay.
That was Bennings. So the dog first interacted with Bennings.
Okay. Because I was trying to... Because, a movie like this, I can understand why you've seen it so many times.
It's a multiple-time watch. You have to pick up on little things.
I want to, take down a notebook. All right, child's was in contact with this person.
Missing at what point?
Yeah, when is everyone missing or gone? And I liked how the movie. I love how when it really made you think it was one person for the most of the movie, and then you find out it was never him to begin with.
They try to push Clark on it a lot. Like they put a lot on Clark, and it would make sense because Clark spent the most time with the dog, who was the thing. Was the thing. That's how it got there. So it's like, well, it's obviously Clark, and it was almost a red herring, like in Scooby Doo. How they pointed so much to that person. It's like it can't be. But is it?
Yeah, and I mean, as time gone on, I was like, I would like it to be Clark, but I'm pretty certain it's not. And then there's just so many things that happen in the movie that I'm just like, oh man, they're setting themselves up for failure. Like, all right, let's tie up everybody, but I'm gonna test your blood, and if you happen to be the thing. I'm the only person who's going to be able to stop you. Everyone else is a sitting duck. So
and that didn't work out well.
It did not work out well at all.
But interestingly, when they were all tied up and Palmer turned into the thing, the only guy who got attacked was Windows, who was not tied up.
Yeah. So,
and I will say one thing about the practical effects. The only part of this movie that looks a little bit cheesy to me is when Palmer's head splits open and he's eating Windows. And he picks him up. You can clearly tell it's just like a rag doll. It's just for like a 2-3 second clip, but
yeah. So out of all the things that they did, where where the doctor puts his hands in, they get ripped off.
Oh, that's the best part of the movie.
Like that was you heard me. I was like
yeah.
But yeah, as far as all of the props and everything they used, I definitely agree. I think that part was probably the least cool part out of all the parts.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, I really like this movie. It really got me thinking, man, what would I do in this situation? And it really, makes you wonder. But yeah, no, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah. Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
We started off with a good one.
I'm really looking forward to whatever there is in the future. Like I can just, I can imagine, some of the big ones we're gonna watch. But this is a great place to start, I think.
Yes, definitely.
So
I definitely wanted to show you this one just because it introduces the practical effects. It introduces, and it's not. There's a lot of special effects, but I wouldn't say it's gory necessarily. So it's a little bit easier to digest. I mean, there's not a lot of blood and guts.
No, not at all.
And I think it's a good stepping stone for someone to be prepared for special effects and gross stuff, but it's not necessarily gore. Most of the time, it's just a lot of alien creatures. So and they are gooey and gory looking, but it's not classical gore. So I think it's a good stepping point to show anybody who's trying to get into horror. Yeah. It's a solid movie.
Well, and we didn't even talk about the ending. So the ending. Mac and
McCready and Childs are left at the end. Yep. Keith David and Kurt Russell.
And
two of the best.
And Brandon brought up a really good point of why did he give him the bottle of liquor.
Yep.
I don't know how I totally missed the part where he was making Mazel Tovs, but I did remember that he left.
Mazel Tovs?
What were you saying?
Molotov cocktails. Mazel Tov is like a Jewish thing.
Okay, well, it shows what I know. But I do remember. Shut up. He cut that part out.
I'm not cutting that out.
But I do I specifically remember Kurt Russell never putting the lid back on that. So where my mind went right away was maybe someone tainted that with the Thing stuff, and they're gonna drink it, and one of them is gonna turn into it.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah.
So I wasn't quite sure, but if he was making the cocktails,
the Mazel Tov cocktails,
it totally would make sense as to why he would give it to Childs, and then if it was gasoline, then he would know that he's the Thing and he needs to go.
Yeah, because Childs just drank that shit like knows nothing.
But
and a human wouldn't do that.
But
so it's like you don't really know at the end if either one of them Thing, if they're both Thing, or none of them are the Thing. Like you don't really know. It's kind of up for your own kind of whatever you want it to be, I guess.
And I mean, who's to say that Childs, even though he is the Thing, who's to say that he still doesn't have human taste buds and would be grossed out by something? That's
supposed to be a perfect imitation. That's true. So I guess you wouldn't really know.
So it could be either of them.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want it to be Kurt Russell because he's awesome.
Yeah,
but
he's great.
It'll be interesting to know. I know you said that there was a prequel, but if
there was.
If they do a sequel,
which they are doing, I think Blumhouse is doing it.
Where is that going to start? Like 20 years later, or how's it going to start out? How do they get out of Antarctica?
I'm not sure if it's going to be a sequel, or if it's going to be a remake. I'm not quite sure. It's very early on in development, but I'm pretty sure Blumhouse is doing it, who did Halloween 2018 and a shit ton of other. They did Get Out. If you ever seen Get Out, did you see that? No. That's another one we gotta watch.
I've never seen Get Out. I'm sorry,
dude. You gotta watch Get Out. That's another one we should watch for this series. But Blumhouse is producing it. And I've heard, unlike the 2011 The Thing, which had a lot of CGI. Well, it was all CGI. There was no practical effects. Then the 2011 version was good. It just the only thing that sucked about it was the effects. It's like, and they weren't. It wasn't necessarily bad CGI. It was just the fact that the John Carpenter's The Thing is so well known for its practical effects that we wanted more of that. Like, what can we do nowadays with practical effects? It'd be amazing. It might be even better than what Rob Bottin did for John Carpenter in that movie. So it's like,
it's unfortunate that this movie was made in 1982.
Yes,
these effects were outstanding,
amazing,
and it's unfortunate that here we are sitting in 2020 and it went from physically real props to just computer and green screen stuff sad. Like that. Like, it's so sad. I mean, I get it's probably a lot cheaper that way, but
yeah, I would imagine.
But there's so many things that you can't do with a camera, like you with. And something that's not there. Like when I was saying how the camera's panning around that body, you can see the shadows change and everything, the different lighting hitting the glistening parts of the blood and everything else. It's like,
and there's no way to perfectly replicate that.
You'll never be, exactly. So
you can make it look good enough,
yeah,
but it's never gonna look like it's actually
a real thing.
So when you have practical effects, when they were shooting it, that was right in front of them, like for real. There's no faking that,
Well, like, and I think
that's why it still holds up today for me. It's like,
from an actor's perspective too, like, you're gonna probably get more of a genuine, real reaction out of something physically there. Whereas if it's just like somebody in a green jumpsuit with like a lot of ping pong balls, like you're supposed to pretend to be scared or spooked out, like it's gonna be a lot more difficult to be freaked out by something like that.
Agreed. So a little thing I want to throw at you is, a lot of people don't know this, but when this movie came out, it was critically panned.
What does that mean?
They hated it.
Really?
People hated this movie when it first came out. It didn't really get popular until the late 80s and early mid-90s is when it started becoming, when video was, VHS were more easily accessible. It kind of developed a cult following, and a lot of reviewers have retroactively changed their rating of this movie, but when it came out, it was panned across the board. Nobody liked it. It was kind of John Carpenter's, redhead stepchild. You know, like, people didn't really care for this movie,
which is really surprising.
And I find that fascinating, especially with the following it has now. It's such like a legendary movie, and it's so well recommended by people and to people. Like I said, I might have said this already, but I recommend this to almost anybody. Like, if you want to watch a horror movie, I'm always down to watch The Thing. Like, it's one of my favorites of all time. So like, I want everybody in the world to see it,
right?
Just to show off, like, you know, if someone likes Avatar, like with the, you know, there's probably the amazing CGI in there. It's like, go watch The Thing,
right?
And tell me it doesn't look better.
And
you know?
To that point too, I mean, yeah, it was a scary, thrilling movie, but it was suspenseful, exciting. It had humor.
Yep. Kept you on your feet. The
you
whole
know,
time you were on edge.
it's not like, you know, it's just a one type of a person kind of a movie. Like, you know, you could show this movie to a group of friends and everyone could like it for different reasons, and not just because it's a horror movie. And I mean, I don't think it's, I don't know if I'd really classify it as 100 out of 100%. It's not 100% strictly just horror.
No,
like it's got a whole lot of, it's got something for everybody.
Thing.
Yeah,
it's a little bit sci-fi. It's
got a little of everything.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You know, because like for the first large portion of the movie, it's like I totally forgot that there's supposed to be a spaceship that they're gonna find.
Yep.
You know, like right now, it was just like, all right, the U.S. is gonna go try to murder Norwegian people who tried to kill them, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right, they're gonna find an alien. You know, it's like, so it's like, my brain's thinking war movie, and then all of a sudden, boom, aliens. You know, and then thriller, and then horror. It had so many great aspects.
Yeah.
So
what was your favorite scene of the movie? You had to pick one scene. What is the scene of the movie for you?
It has to be when the doctor was doing the
what are they
clear
called? Yeah, what is that called again?
I don't know.
Defibrillators.
Yes,
the defibrillators.
And it's hands down that.
Yeah, that's
with
the moment of the movie.
This and I wish we had my reaction.
Yeah, it was great. I
like,
loved it.
My reaction, like I was like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not being too loud right now, but the second his hands dropped in there and you saw it get clamped and then pull off, and then the head drip down the table, and then tongue come out, latch around, and turn into a spider head. I'm like, holy crap! That was so epic.
You don't see stuff like that anymore.
No, not at all. Like, just thinking of like the time and effort it took to just make one of those props, or you know, even the head dripping down the table and the jaw still moving, like how did they do that?
That's incredible.
Like, was it a robot? Like, I am just so curious, you know. And then the fact that it was in 1982 they were doing this. Like, I hate to say it, guys, but that's a long ways away now. And it was so good too. So yeah, hands down that. I loved Mac.
Yep.
I absolutely loved him. And as a collector, I'm probably gonna go home tonight and look up the Thing.
R.J. McCready stuff.
There's something, yeah. Like I don't know. Like, I'm already like got the wheels turning. Like, how could I get a hat like that? I think I could maybe custom make it. I don't know. Yeah, I absolutely loved McCready, and this entire movie was awesome.
It's an iconic role for Kurt Russell. It's probably my second favorite performance next to Death Proof, which is a Quentin Tarantino movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's not a horror movie. It's more of like a action drama movie, but it was one of the Grindhouse movies that came out. They did with Robert Rodriguez.
The one with like the girl with the gun leg.
Yes, that's a Grindhouse movie.
Oh,
that was that's the one Robert Rodriguez did.
Okay.
And then they came out together, and then Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof, and that stars Kurt Russell as like a maniac stunt driver.
Okay.
It's all about cars and stunts. It's a really cool movie. But he plays a guy named something Mike. Something Mike. I can't remember.
I can't help you there.
Mike. It's something Mike, and it's like really memorable. But I can't remember. Maybe it's not that memorable. But yeah, he has a good death-proof car, and he's just amazing in that role. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I am so excited for the next movie we watch. You have no idea.
I got some thinking to do. If you guys have suggestions for a first-time horror, I mean, he's just getting into horror, so we need suggestions. So comment what you think we should watch next, and we could take in suggestions. If we don't get any suggestions, I'll just think of the next thing.
And I think one thing I'm gonna do, which might be fun for maybe the audience, is I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to come up with a list of every horror movie I know I've seen, and
that's
then
a small list.
It's gonna be a really small list, but then we'll be able to add to it and add to it and add to it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for everybody and for us. And then I can maybe try to rank them, in a way.
Yeah.
I
should
think
get
that might be
Letterboxd.
Cool. I don't know what that is.
So Letterboxd is an app where you can log movies you've seen and rate them out of 5 stars, and it's a free app. You just sign up for it, and you get a membership. And every movie ever made is in their database.
Done. That's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, that's how I do it. If you guys want to check out my Letterboxd, it's just that Gore Keeper on Letterboxd. I'll follow back. I always follow back, so I love to see what other people rank stuff too. I only rank horror movies. So I don't have a bunch of fillers. So if you're a horror aficionado like myself, that's the only stuff I rank. And I think I have about 400 movies ranked.
Wow.
And they're all only horror.
Wow.
That's it. Nothing else. So no action movies, nothing.
Awesome.
It's just all horror. So if you guys want to check out some of my ratings on some movies I've seen,
I'm actually going to be...
follow me.
I can't wait to see what you have.
Oh,
listed.
man, there's tons.
I know that you have The Thing as your third.
I think I had it listed at my third favorite on my top 10 video. I think it was
so it's gonna be fun because I'll know the next movie we watch. It'll be interesting for me to see where you have that ranked out of 400, and then see how it goes into where I put it into my list. It'll be
I'm
cool.
pretty sure I had The Thing as a 5-star movie.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I do have quite a few 5-star movies. Many that are not surprising because I'm pretty critical. Yeah. But for me personally, I rank movies and rate movies on how much entertainment I got out of it. Okay. It's not, and with the mixture of how technically well it was done. Right. Kind of like a mixture. So
I'm probably gonna like this one and rate it too high just because it was our first. But I'm sure as time goes on,
quick thoughts. What would you give it out of 5 stars?
That's a good question.
Just put you on the spot. And you can do half stars.
Am I just doing well? Okay, if I'm ranking it with all the other horror movies, it's probably a 5-star movie. Granted, I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, but I think overall as a movie, I don't know if it's one I would go out and buy, and have in my collection. But it's definitely one that if I am, bored, there's nothing on TV, just channel flicking, and it's on and it's just starting, I'm probably gonna stop and watch it.
Right.
Or if I'm, hanging out with my old man or somebody, I'll be like, hey, have you seen this? Because I know for a fact that would be right up his alley.
Yeah.
So if I had to rank it out of 5, probably give it a 4.2.
4.2?
All right. 4.2 out of 5. That's what I would give it.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this video for now. Cool. We'll do the next movie at some point, hopefully in the near future.
I'm hoping we can get together. If we can get together once a week, or
that would be great.
That would be ideal for me. I don't know if that works with you, but we'll figure it out. And we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone posted. Other than that, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on Tyler's first time watching John Carpenter's The Thing.
The Thing.